All right, everybody, welcome to my podcast, Bring It On, and I'm very, very happy today because I have the chance to have one of my favorite country singers of all time. You know, it's like two of my favorite country singers in the same week, so I'm feeling very blessed. I had Chad Brock in the beginning of the last week, and now I have Mr. John Berry. How are you, sir?
Doing terrific. How about yourself?
Oh, my goodness, awesome, and I'm very happy to talk to you. I've been following your career for a long, long time. You know, I don't want to make you feel old, but... I started, the first song I ever heard from you, you know, was in, if I remember correctly, it was in 1994, when you had the song Kiss Me in the Car. So, we're talking like 23 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while back.
Oh my God, yes. And you've kept busy, you know, you're still involved in, you know, making music. And, you know what I stumbled upon last week, I was so happy to see it, is that you have a brand new project coming up, brand new double CD, right? Like, I'll let you talk about it more, you know, a Kickstarter project that you have on your Facebook page.
Yeah, we're going to do a two-disc set because we wanted to separate the music a little bit. Because we've had some songs that I've been recording, that I've been doing live in the show, that people have really wanted recordings of. And so we're doing this one disc of, the main disc is going to be 10 or 11 new songs, just new John Berry country music.
Wow.
And then the second disc is going to be a mixture of some new Christmas songs and some inspirational songs, whether they be patriotic or whether they, you know, whatever they might be, faith-based or, you know, and that's sort of a mix of things.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing because that's something that I also listened to about a week ago, you know, because I'm not, you know, to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of Christmas songs, but I listened to your song, Oh, Holy Night, and I was a live version that you did, and I was blown away. I was like, oh my God, this is probably the best Christmas I've ever heard in my life, and it's alive on YouTube. People can Google it, but it was amazing. And I know you've been singing this song for a long time during your live show, and the response was from the crowd was standing ovation, and I can understand that. So that was an amazing performance.
Well, thank you. We've been doing our Christmas tour for about 20 years.
Wow.
And it's just been a great show, and it's developed into a show that some places we've played. Like Macon, Georgia, we've played that theater every single year. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been great to be able to play and go back to these different cities time after time and have people come and their families come with them and you know, see, basically we can see them come every year and see their children grow up.
Wow, that's
just aunts and uncles.
That's incredible, and I also see that you perform with your wife during a concert, which is something that we don't see very often in country music these days. And you know, your concerts are you're very close to your fans, and you have a very cool personality on stage, and you're great entertainer. Not just your voice, you know, it's something that's going to go down in history probably as one of the greatest voice in country music history. I'm not, you know, everybody agrees with me on this, you know, and I'm sure, you know, but it's true. You know, you have a powerful voice, beautiful voice, but also a lot of, you know, good chemistry with your fans and a lot of charisma. And that's something that I think you were born to do this, right?
Well, I hope so. I sure love doing it and love getting to do it. And I've been fortunate to get to be, you know, recording for a long time. I've been making records, obviously, for a number of years. And I just love getting, especially to tour. I love touring. I love getting to wake up in a different city every day and play for a different audience every day and every aspect of it. You know, going visiting radio stations and setting up, you know, showing up with the crew and seeing if I can help set up gear. And of course, they always say the biggest thing I can do to help is get out of the way. But it's a lot of fun.
It is, and you know, you've been, you know, if I remember correctly, I think you have over 20 CDs over the course of your career. Am I right?
Yeah, about 26 actually, if I'm not mistaken.
That's totally amazing.
Independence I did before I got my first record deal.
That's incredible, and you wrote some of those songs, and you also have a good ear, to be able to take the songs from people and make it yours, because that's a gift. Some singers, Travis Tritt is a good example, can take a song from a songwriter and make it his, and even if people came out and did a Travis Tritt song, it will never sound like Travis. And it's the same thing with you. Even if a young country singer would today take Your Love Amazes Me or She's Taking a Shine or some of your biggest hits, it wouldn't be the same as you, because you made those songs yours.
I appreciate that. I've been fortunate to find songs that I love to sing so much that people have asked me, when did you write that particular song? I said, well, I didn't write that one. That was a friend of mine wrote that. They're surprised. But I try to find songs that mean so much to me, you'd think that they were things that I had written.
Exactly, because I remembered the story about Your Love Amazes Me. Maybe you can tell the story instead of me, but the song, you were kind of lucky to be able to record it, right? Because it was supposedly to go to somebody else.
Yeah, Tanya Tucker. Tanya Tucker had it slated to go on her album, and she actually did release the song at a later time on her greatest hits record, and but she opted not to put it on her. So I feel fortunate that I got to record it, and the writer Chuck Jones and Amanda Hunt Taylor, the two of them wrote it together, and Chuck's been a good friend over the years. I've been able to write with him a lot over the past 20 years, and good guy, terrific writer.
Wow, because the song, it's totally amazing. I've heard some acoustic versions of you singing it, and I remember hearing you sing it the first time. I think it was a CMA Awards back in the day, and I was blown away by the performance. And that's what kind of separated you from the singers at the time. Is just the power of your voice. But the song is not very easy to sing, and it's one of those songs that stands the test of time. Even today, it still sounds amazing when you listen to it on the radio. It's still being played on the radio very often.
Yeah, it's just a great piece of music. I wish I had written it, but it is one of those songs that's just timeless, and one of those, you just don't write one of those every day, and it's a great piece of music.
It is.
I'm so fortunate I got to record.
That was amazing, and just the reaction from the crowd when you sing it live, even today.
Oh yeah,
it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's still, and it's a song, that you sing with passion, and that's something that's, in my opinion, is missing from today's country music radio, and not just country music, but music in general. Is that you don't hear those kinds of songs anymore? There's not a lot of beautiful ballads left. And not only were you known for these songs, but you also had a lot of very different songs. Like She's Taking a Shine, to me, was one of my favorite songs. It was also almost making it to number one. I remember it stayed at number two, and I was like, rooting for it to go to number one. But, it was a big hit for you, right, in 1996?
Oh, yeah, 96, 97, somewhere in there. But, yeah, that's a good song. That's a good front-up tempo. Front-up tempos are hard to find, good ones. Ballads seem to be a lot more prevalent, but finding a good up-tempo that's got a great storyline, and not always the easiest thing to find, but boy, they sure wrote a good one with that one.
My God. And what is the feeling, the first time you heard one of your songs being played on the radio? Do you remember the moment? It's always something for me, not being a singer, but I just can't imagine driving down the road and being like, okay, now the new song coming from Dominic. I'd be like, oh my God, I'll be either having an accident or pull over, whatever. Yeah.
Well, the very first time I heard myself on the radio was years ago, but when I was cutting my independent records, and I bought a little piece of property out north of Athens, and I was actually rolling down the little dirt road going towards that piece of property, and the local radio station had a record of mine, and they were playing it on the radio, and that was the first time I ever heard it.
Wow.
That's pretty wild.
That's amazing. And then when you signed with a major label, your first, if I remember, it was your second song that made it to that became a hit. I think the first was "Kiss Me in the Car." Am I right?
That was the second single. Actually, the first single was a song called "She's Got a Mind of Her Own" that got into the top 40, and then "Kiss Me in the Car" came out and it got into the top 20. and then Your Love Amazes Me came out in late winter, early spring. I guess late winter of '94, like January, February of '94, something like that. And then on May 10th of '94 was my first #1 record.
Wow, it was a career changer, and it became your signature song.
Oh yeah, that's just one of those great pieces of music. Like I said, they don't come along. Those are gifts, you know.
Exactly, but you still have to be able to pull them out, because that's one thing, for a songwriter to write a song, but to have an artist coming out and singing it with so much passion and so much power, it's the same song could have been, sang by somebody else and never made it to #1 or even made it to be a hit. So it takes both. Songwriters need great singers, and great singers need good people to write songs. It's like a big circle, and they were lucky also to have you to sing that song.
Oh yeah, they do. It's got to be the right pairing, right song with the right singer, no doubt.
That's true, because
not always easy to find.
It ain't easy, and that's what, to me, the big difference between today and the 90s is that you had so many different kind of artists back in the day. I remember Colin Ray, Travis Tritt, Brooks and Dunn, Alan Jackson, George Strait, Wade Hayes, Red Akins, David Lee Murphy, Clay Walker, so many different singers, with distinct in voice, and you could hear Clay, and that's a Clay Walker song. You had David Lee, still writing great songs today, but I mean, today everybody kind of sounds the same. You have Luke and Florida Georgia Line, and then you have everybody else that kinds to follow in their footsteps instead of trying to be themselves, and that's what, to me, is the big difference. But like we talked before the podcast, I think now with social media, people can listen now to whatever they want to choose, not necessarily what country radio decides for them to listen to. Do you agree with me?
Oh yeah, I agree. There's a playing field has been changed, and there's a lot of artists out there who are doing great things and have built great followings who've never been played on the radio.
That's so true.
It's pretty amazing.
That's so true. Yeah, the artists from Texas, have great followings. Guys like Kevin Fowler having tremendous careers, and they do their own kind of music, and they don't have to be restricted and be told what to wear during the photo shoot for the album or whatever. And that I was talking to Chad Buck on my podcast last week, but like I told Chad, the first album that Red Akins had, or Wade Hayes, that was not Wade Hayes. Wade Hayes is a guy from Oklahoma. And it is a redneck. And they had him dressed up in the suit, and it's like, no, it's not him. It's not him. Yeah. Why change personality with somebody else? Being you is okay, being you. But I don't think you were ever told to be somebody else than who you were. You never really change. The music that you put out today is the same country music that you had on the radio back in 1993, 1994. So you're one of those rare artists that stay true to themselves from the beginning of their career to now.
Yeah, I certainly have not changed too much, that's for sure. I just do what I do, and kind of sing the kind of songs, write the kind of songs that I think I sing best, and tell my story. So
that's true, but at the same,
true to that.
And your voice, what do you do, sir, to John, to keep your voice in such amazing condition? First of all, to be able to have the same power in your voice today, after over 20 years of singing.
Well, the biggest thing is to go sing. Matter of fact, I was telling my wife yesterday, I said, I haven't sang in weeks, and I can feel it. I can feel it. It's not, I need to go sing. I need to get that strength back. And, it's a muscle, It's just, if you run every day for years and years and years, it's no big deal. You quit running, all of a sudden you go back to running, and all of a sudden your legs are killing you.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's kind of like your voice, it's kind of like a muscle. And by keeping busy, did you ever take a break from music industry? Did you ever, at a year or two, where you stopped singing and touring?
Well, unfortunately, I did in '97 when I had to have vocal cord surgery.
Okay.
I had to take about a year off, and that was a lonesome year.
Wow.
That was tough.
And do you think that, in terms of country music radio, that was a game changer? You being away for a year back in the day with so many new artists, and the format was changing, and it was kind of hard for you to come back, and have your songs played on the radio after a year off.
I'm still trying to come back from that.
Yeah, that's
after all these years. I mean, that's a tough deal. You're gone for a year, they'll forget all about you.
That's incredible, because when I look back at 1995, 94, 96, besides George Strait, now he was back with a new song, but basically Alan, hopefully he's going to get played, but all the guys, Travis, Neil McCoy, they're not being played on the radio anymore, and to me that's very frustrating, because that's the artist that I love. I love new country singers. I like Justin Moore. I really love Justin, or Thomas Rhett. But for every Justin Moore, they're few and far between. And it's getting harder for me to get emotionally attached to those new singers coming up, because the songs all sounds the same. And I love Rhett Akins to death, but 90% of the songs being played on the radio, the top 40, I think it was a year and a half ago, he had 15 songs in the top 40 in 1 week that he wrote with Dallas Davidson. So you're like, okay, so now they own, and I love Rhett. But, I want Rhett to sing his songs. I don't want to listen to a 15-year-old kid, trying to sound like Rhett Akins or David Lee Murphy, I'm okay with Montgomery Gentry playing a David Lee Murphy song. To me, that sounds awesome. But to hear, a 15-year-old kid from New York singing a Rhett Akins song, to me, that doesn't make any sense,
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah.
It's great when these artists, these writers can do their own music,
Exactly, but thankfully, you're still making the same music that you made back in the day, and your fans, because you have quite a following. You're still touring, like you said, all the time, and you're not playing to empty places. The places are packed, and your fans are very, very vocal, and it must have something to do with the fact that your live performances are awesome.
I appreciate that. We love doing the live performance stuff, and that's just it's a real treat to go out and play for people. There's nothing, hardly anything gives us better, greater joy than to go out and actually play for folks. We love that. Matter of fact, that's one of the two of the packages on our Kickstarter program is people can purchase a private home concert, or they can purchase a full band show. Either way, it's pretty cool deal.
That's incredible. And people, the Kickstarter project, is, you're already up to a good start, and, it's new music, and people can go directly on your Facebook page to see, and the link is there. And, I'm very happy that now there's the new ways, for guys like you, and, to be able to keep making great music, because that's what I was afraid of, is that, we'll reach a time, where there won't be any good singers left. We'll only have what country radio handpicks for us. But thankfully, with social media, you're still going to be able to keep on making great new music for us to be able to listen to it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a cool way to fund these projects, because cutting a record is not an inexpensive venture at all. I mean, it certainly doesn't cost the $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 back like it used to cost back in the day when the labels were cutting these records. But it's still an expensive venture, and to get the publicity and all that kind of stuff going is even on top of that. But this is a way that people can pre-purchase the album, and then there's other things that they can purchase along with that, and there's a certain number of lyrics. There's a song called "What a Woman Wants" that my co-writers and I have taken the lyrics and written them out, and the co-writers have signed them along with myself, and we're going to frame those and send them. I think there's 10 of those available, something like that, and that's a different package. There's all these different packages, of course, that they can purchase through the Kickstarter program, and like I said, everything from downloads to CDs to day in the studio, which has been a big sell. We've got just a few of those packages, but where people can come and spend this day in the studio just hanging out with us. while we're tracking the new record.
Wow.
And then there's a package where people can buy multiple CDs, and they can give them away as gifts for Christmas or just different things like that. And so that's been a pretty neat deal. And but Robin, my wife's worked really hard putting together some packages that she thought people would enjoy, and it's off to a good start. We're a week in, and we're already over $14,000 if I'm not mistaken. So we're off to a good start, and our goal is $50,000. And of course, with Kickstarter, the deal is you set your goal, be realistic about your goal, and that you can produce the project for the amount of money you're trying to raise. And but if you don't reach your goal, you don't get any of the funds. So and of course, people are not charged. Their credit cards are not charged or anything until the project reaches its goal. And so if it never reaches its goal, then they're not charged. But so we certainly want to encourage folks to help us reach this goal so we can create this new album and share it with everyone.
That's amazing, because that's the thing. Everybody complains there's no good music anymore. Well, now there's a good chance there's brand new music coming up, because we can't rely on the major labels anymore. To the best example could be Montgomery Gentry came out with a new album about a month ago about the album, but they're not being played on the radio, which is sad. It's a great record, and but instead of complaining and instead of now you're doing something about it. That Kickstarter is a great idea. And just to think, me as one of your biggest fans, to be able to spend a day in the studio with you, that to me, I never heard any artist doing that. I think it's an amazing idea. Have you ever heard somebody else doing it? Or do you think it's one of the first times it's being,
I know of. But basically it's just they can sort of, sit in the studio and sit in the control room and listen to it all be created and watch the process and
wow.
And just sort of be there as it all happens. And so I think we're doing two couples a day for 3 of the days that we're going to be recording, if I'm not mistaken.
That's amazing. That's a great idea, because you can, just for me as a fan, having no idea how recording a CD goes, how much work goes into it. I've been part of Jay Wazzy from Ghost Adventures shooting a movie last summer, and last fall in Rolling Hills Asylum in Buffalo, just to see how much work it was to film one scene. I can't even imagine how much work goes behind making either a video or CD. It must be a lot of work. And is it long days? Like, at what time do you start in the morning until when?
Well, it's done in sessions. Sessions usually go from 10 to 1, and then from 2 to 6, that kind of thing. And but then after those, that's with tracking with the band. And then after that, then there's overdubs and vocal sessions and vocal tracks and background vocal sessions, and it just sort of, and then once all the puzzle pieces are in place, and they start getting to the mixing part, and typically they'll mix 1 song a day.
Wow.
Sometimes 2. That's a real tedious process right there, boy. Oh my goodness.
Is it like over at least a month of work, to make we're just talking about recording the CD, and now the mixing everything else, and then promoting it, and then, putting the record out. That's, you're talking about almost a year of work, right?
Well, I think if you start, usually it's probably 9 months.
Wow.
9 months, when you start looking for songs, get to the recording process and putting it all together. We might run it a little quicker than that, but my guess is record. If you do everything on the right kind of schedule, it's going to be that 9 to 12 months kind of thing.
My goodness. And how is it to now kind of like your record label is kind of your family, your wife and your son. It must be totally different from recording for like a major record label, right? It could give you more freedom in your work.
Oh yeah, we can pretty much go and do what we want to do, but we certainly want to do things that people are going to enjoy and people are going to want to share with others and propel us down the road.
Exactly. And there was something I really wanted to talk to you about. I never write notes when I do a podcast because podcasts to me are like a conversation between friends around a campfire or drinking a beer or a cup of coffee. And it's kind of like, instead of being like a formal, like, when you just started singing, what's your favorite song? But there was something, that really sets you apart as a singer. And I don't remember exactly the show it was. I think it was the ACM Awards. But when you sang... If I had any pride left at all acoustically, in a show filled with, country music back then, was good, but there were a lot of, live performances were not the strength of every artist, right? But that performance was a game changer. I remember the people in the crowd, the standing ovation and the look from your fellow country music artist. And tell me more about that night and the song and how it came out.
That was the 1995 CMA Awards.
Wow.
And it was at the Opry House in Nashville. And, that was, they asked me if I would do a solo acoustic song on the show. And, of course, when they first invited me to go on the show, I was like, oh, it's going to be awesome. I get to be part of the big show. And sing with the big band and all that, and then next thing I know, they're asking me if I'd just do a song, just my guitar, and I was like, "Oh, come on, man, let me do something with the band." But it ended up being one of those moments because there's the big shows got song after song with the big band and the orchestra and the whole everything, and then there was that one moment where there was just me and a guitar on stage
and that was
it ended up being a big moment.
It stole the show. It really, really, really stole the show.
I appreciate that.
And it was
20 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, and I remember it to this day. I remember it. I did, and I try to find it on YouTube. I can't find it. If somebody can one day find this live performance, but I still remember you singing the song. And I was watching one of your live performance from your song "If I Had Any Pride Left at All" from a country radio station on YouTube last week, and I was reading the comments. That's something I really like to do when I love a country singer, and I'm always reading the comments of people. And somebody said, I heard this song when I was younger, didn't pay much attention, but now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, what a jam it was. And to me, I think that, of course, Your Love Amazes Me is a wonderful song, but my favorite song that I think had the most meaning to me personally was that song, If I Had Any Pride Left at All. And do you agree that it's one of those songs, that you sing one song like that in your career?
Yeah, that's another one of those rare gems, It's just a great song. Troy Seals, John Greenbaum wrote that song, and just a great, great piece of music that's just unlike anything else I've ever done.
Totally different. It was totally different because just the vocal range, and the lyrics, because that's one thing about it's great to have a beautiful voice but when the song means something, it's even better.
Yeah, that's true.
And this song, was one of those songs, that the music was beautiful, your voice and the lyrics, everything, came together to make one of the best songs, from the 90s. And even today, is it a song that you still play today? Is it one on your song list again?
I still do that song from time to time. I do. And matter of fact, that song is I did a book called Songs and Stories.
Okay.
And it's a collection of short stories. And mainly it's I tell a lot of stories in our show, and because I just talk a lot during our show, and I tell about where I found songs and what that song means to me in my life or whatever, or or a song I've written and why I wrote it, what the story is behind why I wrote a song, and I still sing that song. But we included that in the book, and it's a pretty good one.
It is, and your book. After the podcast, I'd love to. I'm very interested in reading your book. Very interested in your work. So that's something that I'm sure some people didn't know. That now they'll be able to look on your website, johnberry.com, because you have your website. People can reach you on Facebook. Oh, yeah. You also have a Twitter account, and now this new Kickstarter project. So you're you have a full plate.
Yeah, it is full plate. Yeah, I hope folks will take a look at our Facebook page and or at johnberry.com. If you'll scroll down on the main page there is a little brief synopsis about our Kickstarter program. Kickstarter program, and hope folks will take a look at that and click on the link there, take you to, and let you see all about the Kickstarter program and us creating this new album, how people can be a part of that.
That's incredible. And, I want to ask you also, what was the feeling you had the first time you played the Grand Ole Opry? For you as a country music singer, was it something you did early in your career?
It was fairly early. I couldn't tell you exactly the date. I do actually have a picture that someone had taken, and they were at the show. And they took my picture at the Grand Ole Opry the very first time I was there, and they framed it. And it's a two-sided. It's like two pictures that face each other, hinged in the middle. A little frame. And on one side is the photograph they took, and on the other side is the program from that night. Wow. From the Grand Ole Opry House with my name in the program. And I can actually look on that and see what the date is. Of course, we just moved, so everything in the world is in boxes. So.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible.
That's exactly when that was.
And what song did you perform on that night?
I don't know.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it while you were having your when you started on a major label or before?
Yeah. It was after I had some hits on the radio. So
okay. Well, still, to play the Opry, and over the years, touring, you must have met some of these other great singers. What guys, from the '90s that you've kept close relationships? What you still see or still talk to today? To me, a singer, I might be mistaken, but I really kind of think had the same talent you had, vocally, and in terms of the songs that he sang, was very adult-like and very, it was not necessarily, like Colin Ray. I think Colin Ray and you had the same style and the same, distinctive voice. And was it somebody you worked with before or you played before with?
I've done a few shows with Colin over the years.
Wow.
We know each other to speak to, of course, and but I haven't really, I don't know him other than being able to do a few shows with him over the years, but there's a few guys I see from time to time, like Tracy Lawrence. I see him every now and then, and Joe Diffie and Brian White and. I see Wade Hayes every now and then.
Oh, you see? Oh my goodness! Yeah, wow, that's amazing. Yeah. Have you seen Wade recently? Did you see Wade in the last few years? I know he's doing way better now. Very happy that he's doing well after beating cancer. His new CD is absolutely amazing. I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to Go Live Your Life, but I think it's the best country music record I've heard in years.
That's great. Yeah, he's terrific. He and I did a show together out in Wyoming, an acoustic thing, a few, 6 months ago, something like that.
Oh my God!
And then I ran into him at an event here in Nashville not too long ago, about a month ago, I guess. And so nice guy.
That's amazing because, I met a quick story here. One year I was driving, every year I used to go to Texas, Arizona. I live in Sherbrooke, Quebec, which is like 50 hours away from Texas. So, I used to drive every year, across the United States. And one year, he had Mark Wills in in Colorado Springs on Monday and Wade Days on Tuesday in Norwood, Carolina. But I didn't know because that was before the GPS. So I thought it was close, but it was like 6 hours away through the mountains.
Yeah.
So we had to drive all day through the mountains with just a little map, not to get lost. And we arrived at the show like 10 minutes before with no tickets. There were only 2 tickets left. You know, I talk about destiny. I think destiny played a part there, and I was able to get 2 tickets, like, not too far in the back. It was a small honky-tonk, and watched the whole show, and I was totally blown away. And then after the show, you know, they had another show like an hour after. So they were cleaning everybody else, and I just told the manager of the place, I just love to meet Wade, you know, tell him we're from far away, and we drove 50 hours to be here, blah, blah, blah. So the manager said, okay. Then his drummer came, his manager came, and he said, okay, stay here. And then Wade came out, and Wade was like, you know, I was nervous, and then Wade came up to me, hey, the guy's from Canada, you drove all the way, are you crazy, blah, blah, blah. And we talked for about 10, 15 minutes, took a picture that I still have, you know, almost every now and then put it as my, on my Facebook page as my profile picture. And he was such a genuine, nice guy, you know, can't imagine.
Yeah, he's terrific. Terrific guy.
And what a wonderful voice, you know, kind of like your distinctive voice, totally different from what you heard on the radio back then. And even today sounds amazing, you know, still have a beautiful voice. And the songs that he sings are from the heart. And you can see the genuine, genuine artist. You know, you can't fake it, right? You can't fake being.
True. That's true. You can't fake that.
You can try, but, you know, people see through you very quickly in this business.
Yeah.
So that's incredible to meet all those people. But still, I'm sure for you, the best thing is, like you said, touring and meeting your fans. And you moved to Nashville last year, you told me, right? So you used to be in Georgia.
Yeah, we lived in Athens, Georgia for years, and we moved away a couple of years ago. 3 years ago, we moved. Well, let's see, 4 years ago, we moved down to South Georgia, the southern part of the state, and then we moved back, and we're there for a year. We leased a house for a year and trying to figure out where we wanted to be. And during that year, we started going back and forth to Nashville a lot, and ended up moving up here and leased a house here for a year and figured out where we wanted to be, and bought a house up here. We really enjoyed it. It's been great.
That's amazing. You see a lot of people moving to Nashville, retired people, you know, absolutely. It seems to be like, I've been to Nashville a few times, but never really had a chance to tour the city itself. I've been, you know, on Main Street and everything where the clubs are, and it's a very cool city. You know, it's not that big, but it's still big enough to you know, you have like the good sides of a big city, but not the bad sides of like a New York with all the bad traffic, right?
Yeah. No, it's a great town. Of course, we live in one of the suburb towns, you know, kind of surrounding about 30 minutes from downtown, and so we're sort of in a different community than Nashville itself. But as far as business concerned, we can be in town in a half hour or less, and I'm usually down there a couple times a week taking care of stuff. So.
Well, that's incredible, and your family is there with you, so that's another thing, you know, that touring all the time, you know, it's not easy, you know, because you're far away from your family all the time. So back in the 90s, when you were touring, how many days a year would you be on the road?
We were gone almost all the time, and but I took my family with me.
Oh, that's wow.
And as difficult as it was great. And we had 2 buses on the road, one for the band and crew and one for me and my family. And that's what we did. So
that's awesome, because I listened to a podcast with Tracy Bird a few months ago, and that's what Tracy did back in the day too. He would move his family was touring with him, and that's incredible. His kids grew up on the road. Probably the same thing with you.
Yeah, our kids did. They grew up traveling every day, and, you know, just on the road, living on the bus. We had the bus set up for our family, you know, to do what we needed to do and function the way we needed to function. And when our oldest got school age, we homeschooled her for a few years, and Once in '97, I had to have a vocal cord surgery in fall of '97, and had to take almost a year off. And so at that point, we were at home, and we ended up putting the kids in school and local school where we lived in Georgia. And the kids discovered that there were more fun things to do than hang out with their dad all the time.
Yeah, it's
well, sort of ended all that. So
yeah, but today, they're probably happy to be working with you again, right?
Oh, they enjoy it. Yeah, the boys enjoy it. My youngest plays drums with us, and
wow.
Their son Sean is a guitar player, and creating a lot of his own music, and he played guitar with us for a little while last year and opened the show for us. So I had a lot of fun doing that.
Is interested, in making it like a career, or something that he is thinking about?
Yeah, he's thinking about it. He's working on it.
Okay.
And more songs, and he's working on his songwriting and trying to get in there and write with as many folks as he can. And he cut a little CD last year, a little 5 or 6 song EP, and he's going to probably do another one later this year or first of next year. So probably first of next year after the holidays.
Oh, that's awesome. So we'll just take a minute break, and we'll be back for the last 15 minutes of the podcast, because I don't want to take too much of your time. So we'll be back in 2 minutes, okay?